But certainly there's been obviously struggles in general because especially when we changed the lineup was a bit difficult because obviously finding all the whole new lineup, whole new musicians, but at the same time that happened during the COVID pandemic as well. So even when we were trying to write and everything like this, it was very difficult to come together as a group and actually record the music and record the videos and things like that because obviously of the social distancing at the time.
In this episode, Cupcheers had the privilege of speaking with Phobetor, a Blackened death metal band from the UK. They certainly took no prisoners in their performance at the Underworld. This is In the Chair With.
Welcome to In the Chair With. This is Phobetor. I'm joined by Mark and Deborah. How are you both?
Hi, yeah, we are fine, thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Good. Well rested after kind of a busy weekend performing with Crypto and Co?
Yeah, managed to recover now.
Yeah, it was a pretty hectic night. Really enjoyable. You know, all three bands were really great, and obviously it was pretty packed out venue as well.
Yes. I wanted to go. I wanted to go myself. However, I'd been up London sort of it was the previous few days before, and it was not until late in the time that I learned that we were covering it, and I was like, damn. But I'm responsible for kind of reviewing all the footage, and it looked like it was heaving there. Like it looks,
we weren't sure because obviously Bloodstock weekend, you're never really sure with gigs at that time whether that's going to be. Yeah, not empty, but not as busy as it normally would be, especially as Crypto obviously playing Bloodstock on the Saturday, I believe. So, but yeah, it turned out. I mean, I'm not sure if it was quite sold out, but it certainly wasn't far off.
Yeah.
No. Well, I think when it comes to festival season, people still do go out to all the other gigs. I think it's just our community. We absolutely live for it, don't we? So talk to me about the band, like about its inception. How did it come about? How did you all guys form to get together?
Yes. Well, to start with, I basically was in the band from the start with another guitarist, Mitch, with whom we produced the first album. And then Mark stepped in and he decided to actually record the drums for the album. And from there, we kind of evolved. We evolved by introducing our new guitarist, Ross, that we currently have, because Mitch decided to move on to other projects. And then from there, we decided to go a lot heavier on the style, a lot heavier also on the vocals, because on the previous album we had a few melodic vocals here and there from a guest singer. And now we are basically focusing on writing some new material as well.
Okay, and is this going to continue going sort of darker?
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I would say it's a bit darker, yes.
How so? Because I thoroughly enjoyed the material that I heard. In fact, actually, I was, before this, I was watching one of your videos on YouTube. It was a four of you doing a playthrough. I can't remember. It was Wild. The title will come to me. I was hoping it was up on my screen.
We did
something like Solace in Darkness.
It was either Within Death's Embrace.
Oh,
that's the one. That's the one.
That's right.
That was the one. Thank you very much. And it's sort of remarkable just how calm. The music is dark and vicious and fast, but everyone just looks so calm playing it. It's always a thing that I spot. It's like it's brutal kind of madness, but it's just like, yeah, this is our tempo, and I love seeing it. And there's a scream you pulled off at 3 minutes and 51 seconds, and I remember that quite clearly. And I was like, wow, that is so impressive. I'm a big lover of all things kind of blackened and dark and horrific. But I wonder if I may just direct a question to you personally, Deborah. You know, I suppose when people's sons go and join rock bands and things like that, that's probably considered the norm. Was there any kind of resistance from perhaps, you know, family or whatever when you've suddenly grown into this kind of black metal space? It's not the most typical female vocal kind of expectation, is it?
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, yeah, I have to say I am kind of one of a kind in my family because no one really listens to heavy metal or black metal or death metal or anything like that. Actually, I'm from Italy, so everyone is more on the kind of more side of the Italian music, let's say, in my family, classical Italian music. Not that I don't like that, of course I do. I do enjoy some of them myself, but
Yeah.
I kind of branched out towards a more heavy metal approach. Mostly for me, I think with heavy metal was a kind of, I would say, like a kind of way to exercise the demons inside of you in a kind of sense. Through kind of the music, the high energy of the music, it's almost kind of helps you like it does help you to basically put into art any kind of emotions that you have.
Yeah.
Any kind of wild emotion kind of thing that you have inside of you, you can actually put into art and display that way. So it's kind of liberating to me in a kind of sense for that reason.
Perfectly understand that, and it's a sentiment that I hear a lot, and I am a composer myself, and I find that channeling your own shit or personal kind of struggles and strifes or moments through the music, it just helps better regulate every area of your day-to-day life. Has there ever been any kind of points in time where you haven't been able to kind of release that through your music, or perhaps you've given music a pause and had to walk away from it for a bit? What did that kind of look like, if it's ever come up? I put my teeth back in.
Yeah, no, actually, it's never happened that I had to like walk away and then go back to it in any case, in any way like that. But certainly there's been obviously struggles in general because especially when we changed the lineup was a bit difficult because obviously finding the whole new lineup, whole new musicians. But at the same time, that happened during the COVID pandemic as well. So even when we were trying to write and everything like this, it was very difficult to come together as a group and actually record the music and record the videos and things like that because obviously of the social distancing at the time. So there is this aspect, and also there is the aspect as well that in general for a smaller band it might become a bit harder to actually be introduced properly within the music industry. For example, as well. So there are these kind of aspects that play together.
And also the fact that we are, a relatively unknown band in the grand scheme of things. We don't have that pressure on us day in, day out that, we have to do this, we have to do that.
Yeah.
But, you can step back and take a little breather and things like that and take our time in writing. We haven't got the pressures of you have to be in the studio this date and you have to be out. So it means that we can really think about what we want to do, take our time with it, and it's it works out quite well. As much as you'd all like to be on tour with Metallica, 300 days a year or whatever.
Well, yeah,
relative, that's very hard work, a lot of stress.
It's a lot of hard work.
So we're happy not having that pressure on us for writing and recording, because I think it does allow us to be perhaps a little bit more creative and patient with how we write.
Yeah, there is a thing of kind of be careful what you wish for, because I've seen bands go signed and then suddenly it's almost like another day job to them. It's like, hey, you've got this appearance here at this, that, and now you've got to be creative and write something between these 2 hours today, and it's like, yeah. And I don't think that lends itself very well to these types of genres either, because they're very okay. I don't want to slate pop music too much, but I feel that in metal there's a lot more kind of passion, because usually that, as you say, that darkness that you're about, it comes from somewhere, and you can't make that artificial. So Mark, what about kind of your journey into this genre?
It's it's been a long journey. So I mean, when I was starting to get into metal music, initially it started with the usual kind of rock bands, I suppose, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, Iron Maiden, and then the early 90s was then obviously bands like Machine Head, Sepultura, that kind of ilk, the Roadrunner age, I suppose, Obituary, and then it was Slayer, and then it was like Carcass and At the Gates and Napalm Death, and the whole spectrum.
No, I love Napalm Death.
So it's been like that. I mean, I've been in a few different bands over the years. Descent back in the day. Pytheo is still going now, which I do, which is more symphonic power metal.
Oh, okay, yep.
And I wasn't really planning on joining any new bands. So Debora's having some issues with lineups and drummers in particular. So I stepped in to play a few gigs, and then I stepped in to record the first album, When Life Falls Silent. And it was like, well, this is cool. Actually, I'm enjoying playing extreme metal again. It's good fun. I mean, got out and played some gigs. Again, a bit fortunate with some of the bands that we played with. Those good gigs that they don't come along very often. You have to really appreciate them for what they are and take advantage of what they are, which is exactly what happened with the Crypta gig. We were mostly concentrating on just getting the new stuff written and recorded, and the opportunity came along to support Crypta in the Underworld, and it's a no-brainer, really.
I think if you some noises going on, apologies. If you position yourself kind of well enough and are active and are always looking out for those opportunities, then they come. It's the same for any bands in any genre. Those who kind of keep putting their head above the parapet. But also, I've listened to your material. It's got a very polished sound. There's a lot of kind of blackened metal that could do with a little bit more kind of aftercare, post recording and what have you. I know it's kind of that slightly attached to the genre in terms of the style, especially harking from the days of the 90s. But it's a good image, and it's very well presented, and I think that does yourself a lot of favors. What kind of, to anyone else kind of in this sort of scenario, so they don't have the pressures, they're recording and they're looking to sort of attract them gigs, they're in this kind of blackened niche that clearly isn't Radio 1 material, what sort of advice would you prefer to those people?
Don't get too worked up or stressed out about it, because it can get pretty stressful when you're knocking on a lot of doors, trying to get gigs, trying to get on festivals, and you're getting a lot of not even no's, you just don't get responses. It can be tough. It's a tough industry to be in, and just if you really want to do it, you just got to stick with it and keep sort of rolling with the punches really on it.
Keep trying as much as you can.
Awesome, thank you. I mean, it is a bit soul destroying. We've moved into an era where we can freely release music to a global stage through all these apps and stuff, but it's like less and less exposure. It really is releasing into the void, and it's kind of we're so connected and everyone's contactable via email or Instagram or something, but at the same time these people are all oversaturated as well, so it leaves a lot of silence, and it's hard to be creative and have a kind of sort of build a momentum, certainly psychologically, in the face of just such kind of just nothing, just a void, So it's you got to keep hammering about it. What next is? You say you're working on something. Is there anything you can shed light in terms of kind of the style, the concept, if any, or is it a collection of just songs that you've written?
Musically, it's a natural progression. I think the last album, there was still elements of groove. There were still elements that were quite progressive, which was just a natural progression from the first album.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this one, we've gone a little bit more kind of balls to the wall, extreme, more Black and Death, more straight sort of Black and Death style on that one.
Yeah, I would say there is a more black metal element to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Than before.
I don't know, but lyrically and vocally.
Vocally, I would say I have introduced a few more high vocals, in the sense that I generally tend to have a particular style that I like, in the sense that I like to have these very low guttural kind of growls. That's kind of my style, kind of thing. And I do sprinkle here and there some more high vocals to give you a bit more dynamic. But I think because of the more black metal kind of style, I have added a few more of those kind of more high, screechy, let's say, vocals to it. And lyric-wise, I think I have. It's very much still based on, let's say, expressing through poetry. In a kind of ambiguous way as well, certain kind of life challenges that I had in the past year. So some of the songs like reflect that. So it's still very much this idea of expressing your emotion through music and through poetry. In the terms of the lyric content, I would say, yeah, the style is always, as I said, quite ambiguous for the lyrics as well, because that's the type of style I like to write in, because I feel like that when you don't necessarily become specific about the topic, completely specific, it almost gives it room for people to interpret it in different ways, and to relate to that in different ways, rather than me trying to convey you a message exactly as it is. You can interpret it and almost make it your own.
Yeah, I mean, some of our favourite bands do that. Yeah. Paradise Lost, Opeth. Yeah. Some of their lyrics, you read them and you conjure up your own images from the.
Yeah. You know what? I've not actually thought about it from that angle of ambiguity, and you just saying that, and then Mark, you kind of highlighting that with Opeth, and I absolutely love Opeth. I mean, who doesn't? And if you don't, you should learn to love them. But I've sat there after the breakups. I've sat there in all sorts of moments in my life, and everything that they've said seems to shine through, and I've never stopped and paused for one moment to think that might be a result out of ambiguity and just kind of almost being a bit abstract with it. And that's funny for me, because I actually write lyrics and stuff myself, and I'm always trying to be very specific. What is it I'm trying to get across? But there we go. I've learned something. If you've woken up something in there, the next time I write, I'll probably come up with absolute nonsense, but it might mean something to someone.
Well, so some do write like that, don't they? I think was it Bowie used to do the cutting up bits of lyrics and just rearranging them and things, and
yeah, it's an approach. It's an approach. Oh no, awesome. So where are you playing next? Because I'm keen to catch you on your circuit.
There's nothing lined up at the moment, so we're not really out looking. We're mostly trying to concentrate on getting the new material recorded. Which drums are done, guitars are being edited at the moment, and then it'll be Debora, bass, lead guitar, and any bits and bobs we want to add to it. So that's the focus at the moment. So we're not really out looking for anything at the moment, but we'll see what comes along. Otherwise, it will be once the new material's out, we'll be looking to play a few shows then to promote that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, please keep me posted on studio developments when there's something new to listen to. There will be some video footage and stuff coming out from the night at the Underworld. But above, well, I'll do anything I can to sort of give you a bit of back in, a bit of a nudge, and introduce you to kind of fellow fans. I thought the stuff that I've heard and watched over the course of this week, really decent stuff. Just added to my black metal gym playlists. And it's the best way to exercise, I think. Forget all this pumping dance music. Yeah, it's brutality. Get the job done. Yeah. So, any final words or anything else you kind of want to say? The platform's yours.
I suppose just please check us out. Social media, Instagram at Phobetor UK, Facebook the same. YouTube Phobetor UK. Please check us out, give it a listen, give it a try, and hopefully like what you hear.
Yeah.
I'll chuck the links below. And you saying that, Mark, just reminded me of one question. Where did the name come from?
Oh yes. It's actually a Greek name, and it comes from the Greek god of nightmares, which is also called Phobetor, of course. So that is the reason for choosing the particular name. We thought it had a kind of dark spin to that, which was particularly cool.
So we always get asked, like, how's it actually pronounced?
Yeah.
Like,
none of us is Greek.
So we've heard like Phobetor, because I think the
yes,
we just say Phobetor, but we're not precious about how people pronounce it.
So I had it as Phobetor, so but we're dumb English people. We have no idea when it comes to other people's languages. We're just like, everyone speaks English, we don't need to learn anything. But it's interesting. So again, I've learned something. The Greek god of nightmares, I didn't know such a thing existed. Was that something that you related to in terms of nightmares? Because I suffer with nightmares all my life. I just wondered if that was an influence behind the choice of the name.
Well, no, not particular. It wasn't because of any particular personal experience or anything like that. It was more the appealing nature of it, because it fit properly the theme of the band in general and things like that.
That's fine. That's fine. I just wondered. I'm absolutely obsessed with nightmare psychology and things like this.
I get sleep paralysis, and that's bloody horrible.
That's not a great one. Fortunately, that one has evaded me. All the terrors and the nightmares and the replaying and the what do they call it? The dream reality confusion. Been through there, whatever. But it's great inspiration for music. So there we are. Well, I wish you a good night's sleep, and I thank you for coming on. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. And I say, keep in touch.
Cheers. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for yours.